What's going on, everybody? This is Walking Hand in Hand with God, Part 2. Hand in Hand with God, Part 2. I'm so thankful that you're watching, that you're listening, that you're paying attention to what God has to say for you to be able to be in this position and walking together with Him. So, right now, I'm going to give you the verses that we've talked about prior, which was Proverbs chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. It says, give careful thought to that path for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right, which is right, or the left. Keep your foot from evil, meaning don't pay attention to everybody else. Don't worry about what society has and what you go through in everyday life. Choose to go forward. Don't look backwards. Look forward into where God is taking you and where you're developing into. Then our verse for today is Proverbs 8 and 20. 8 and 20. The New International Version. Okay. New International Version. It says, I walk in the way of the righteousness, along the path of justice. I'll read it again. I walk in the way of righteousness, along the path of justice. Meaning, with this part, you're choosing truth. You're choosing light. You're choosing to walk hand in hand with God no matter what. When you're saying, I walk in the way of the righteous, meaning that you're shunning the things that are wrong. You're getting rid of the negative things. You're getting rid of the things that's causing you to fall short. You're getting rid of the things that's causing you to be angry over minor and meager things that don't make sense, but it's taking up your time. You're utterly choosing God and you're outreaching to Him. Then it says, along the path of justice, meaning you're fighting for the right things. You're walking with the right things. Now, this is not easy. This is not easy by far. I don't care what nobody say. To do this, you have to deny your flesh. This is what the Bible asks you to do. To deny your flesh and acknowledge His ways. Meaning choose to let go of the worldly things and take hold of the godly things. When you're doing this, this means you're letting go of things that may have had reign or govern over you or persevering over you to do what the things that God sees fit for you. Meaning your anger cannot hold you captive. Your flesh can't hold you captive. From getting you close to God, from getting you in a position where you can get each and everything that God has for you. You're not letting anything block it. Now, when you walk the narrow road, I'm going to tell you, nobody really going to like you. Your friends and family that were there for you, that was standing in front of you, that was haranguing you when you was doing all the drinking, haranguing you when you was doing all the smoking, haranguing you when you were doing all the things that's keeping you from being healthy, haranguing you when you're doing the wrong things, there when you got all the money, but when you fall down, them same people are not going to like you. When you work for God and walk hand in hand with God, people are not going to like you because you're denying the world that held you captive in certain ways. Reason why they tell you got to dye your hair, put perm in your hair, cut your hair short just to fit into society. This is why God says, take up your cross daily and follow me. When you take up your cross daily and follow God, you choose to let go of the things that's of the world. When you let go of the things that's of the world cannot hold you captive. But has nothing else to do but to remember the resemblance that God has in you. It has no more room but to give you what God said is yours. No more being lukewarm. No more being hot or cold, but being just right in the eyes of God. Choosing Him. Now, this does not mean you have your grandmama's religion, your granddaddy's religion. This means you have your own relationship. To have a relationship with God is to mean that you took the time to pray for yourself, took the time to study for yourself, study your own self-approval, and did your diligence. The verse that I'm talking about, that means you're judging the verses, you're judging the studies that you have in the right manner and holding them to the right manner. Now, I'm telling you, everybody don't study the same. Everybody's walk is not the same. So the way that God reveals certain things to a certain person is for that person, but not necessarily for you. What God shows you is what God shows you and not what everybody else sees. Now, this means your faith is not going to be the same as the next person. Surely not going to be the same as your mother's, as your father's, as your aunt, uncle, cousin, all of that. It's going to be personal. For it to be personal in your life, you have to choose God first. I mean it. Choose Him first. Choose to follow God first. Choose to study for yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else got to say. Oh, you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Read behind the words for yourself. Study for yourself so that God can equip you the way that He wants you to. So today, walking hand in hand with God, part 2, is to know, like it said in Proverbs 8:20, I walk the way of the righteousness, along the path of justice. Meaning you speak for truth, you speak life, you endure life, and you endure the positive things. No matter what, if somebody like you or not. So, it's up to you. It's your choice. It's not my choice. It's not Ezekiel G. Collins' choice. It's up to you. What do you want your walk with God to be like? The same? In the same position? Laying in the same direction? Or are you willing to show difference? That's what I have for you today. Before this holiday season gets kicking off all the way, remember these things. For God to defend you and know you, you have to build that relationship. Or you're going to be in the same position as a lot of people will be. In hearing God saying, for I never knew you, turn from me. But then you see in the same verses in the Bible, it says, haven't I prophesied in your name? Have I cast out demons in your name? Yeah, but I never knew you. You worker of iniquity. What does that mean? You did the work, you did what you're supposed to do, but at the same time, you didn't build a relationship with me. You took what your grandmother had and your grandfather had and your aunties and everybody had, but you didn't go to God for yourself. You didn't pray for yourself. You didn't get to know God for yourself. It's just like you trying to be in a relationship with a woman. You want it, but you don't say nothing. You want to be in a relationship with that man, but you want it, but you don't say nothing. Then you get mad when somebody else get the same person that you wanted to be with. You wanted that job, you wanted that certification to get where you're going, but you didn't do nothing about it. This is where faith without works is being dead. So I'm going to tell you, you got to decide. You have to decide. So as I leave you, this Saturday, December 21st, I tell you, make your choice. Do you want to do what Proverbs 8:20 says? I walk in the way of righteousness along the path of justice? Or do you want to do something else? God already designed it for you to win. In every dang almost every verse in the Bible, he lets you know that he's going to provide for you. But all you have to do is choose to follow God. He lets you know in more than one way that he got you. Don't take my word. Please don't take my word. Go in that book and study. Because my job is just to give you life in the word and show reference to it. But it's up to you to open it up and study. And let me be clear to you. You see that? You see those degrees behind me? Because what God put in me, because of what God did for me in the family he gave me, I followed the plan that God gave me, and I earned one. God gave me a family, a wife that helped me see what I needed, and a mother and father that raised me to see it. He gave me my daughter, and I earned that one. I'm about to have a son in December. No, not in December. April 19th, 2025. And I'm about to complete the third one. My doctorate of education in organized leadership. For each one, God gave me something and someone to push me to get it. What are you willing to do with the gifts that God gave you? What are you willing to do to gain control and walk hand in hand with God? I'm going to leave you with this. In Judges, it talks about Samson. And Samson, he was blessed during birth and before birth, saying that he should not get his hair cut. He didn't need none of that. Go to read the book of Judges for yourself and look up the story of Samson. Jezebel, he let Jezebel tempt him, playing with the truth, until he finally caved in and told her where his strength is. These Philistines came and got him, blinded his eyes, cut his hair. It took him to lose his sight to fully see what God had for him entirely. He knew that God strengthens him, but to fully see, his eyes had to be taken. And then at the end of that verse, between 26 and down, it said, let me pay back the Philistines for taking my two eyes. Let me die with them. God gave him strength, and he knocked down the pillars and killed more people than he ever could, because he could see God clearly. I hope God don't have to take nothing from you, just so you can see him. But understand, what you lose, what God takes, is for you to see the truth. Don't be like Samson, in the measure where you have to lose your sight, lose something just so you can see something. But be willing to get rid of things so that you can gain everything. That's what walking hand in hand with God is all about. But listen, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the message. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let me pray with you before you go. Lord, I thank you for these people that are watching and listening. Lord, teach them how to walk hand in hand with you the way you want them to, not the way that I'm saying. Give them clear instruction so that they can follow you. They may be listening to the words that you're giving me, but let them follow you the way you want them to, not the way I want them to. Let them get rid of their parents' religion and get their own relationship and doctrine. Do not give them man-made doctrine, give them your doctrine. Give them your sight. Give them positions to be anchored in you and in the truth. Give them a reason to earn. Give them a reason to live. Give them life abundantly. And with this life, they gain everything. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Happy holidays to you. I hope you have a wonderful day.